What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I just finished watching the first episode of She-Hulk. So I went into this with an open mind because, as you guys know, I've stated before in the little reactions that I've done to clips and the trailers and things like that, it was one of those things where, based on what I saw, I was like, oh, this is like a Marvel kind of with lawyer and her girlfriends but it kind of wasn't like that this first episode. But I will say this, I liked it. I actually liked it. I really, really did. So in this first episode, obviously we know she's a lawyer, and it starts out with her getting ready for this trial that she's about to do. And then she kind of looks at us when she's done talking to her colleagues, and she's like, yeah, well, this is supposed to be a lawyer show, but in regards to all the, Hulk stuff, this is where this all started. So she goes into the origins of how she became a Hulk. So her and Bruce were on a car ride somewhere, and on the way there, this big ship-looking thing came down from wherever and literally caused them to get into an accident. The car rolled over a whole bunch of times. And now Bruce has this device. I forgot what he called it, but he has this device that keeps him at bay from turning into the Hulk. So when they rolled over, she got out the car. She tried to pull him out. That device was broken, or something happened to it. So they were both bleeding, and when she was trying to save him, he was trying to tell her to get away, but his blood dripped on her, and that's how she became the Hulk. So at that point, he turned back into the Hulk. She turned, and she ended up in the woods in the dark. We don't know where he went. She ended up at this bar. And she looked homeless, like it was crazy. So then she goes into this bathroom, and these girls come in there, and they were like, are you okay? Who did this to you? Like, she looked that tore up. They're sitting there trying to do her makeup and fixing her up and giving her clothes. So anyway, she tries to call for a ride. I don't know who she called or how. But she's outside and she's waiting, and these guys come out of the bar and they're trying to kind of talk to her but kind of bother her. And then her being afraid or emotional turned her into the Hulk, and she's in attack mode. So then she ends up finally with Bruce. They're on this resort looking area. It's his lab or his sanctuary, whatever you want to call it. So he's trying to get her to understand what's going on. And, she's like, no, you've got to turn me back. You've got to turn me back. And, we have a couple of funny moments where he's trying to explain things to her, and she's like, trying to take it all in. And she's like, look, I didn't sign up for this. This is not who I am. I'm a lawyer. So then she kind of I thought she was going to turn at one point, but she just needed food. So they're sitting down and she's eating, and he's basically telling her, like, you may stay this way for like 15 years before you try to, get back to normal. So she's trying to leave. She's trying to escape and everything. And it's just not happening. So here he is trying to train her, and she is just not taking it seriously at all. So all the little things, the little drills that he's showing her, she's kind of like doing it better. But the thing is, what surprised him is that when he had her in this chamber, right? And this is what we saw in that clip. He had her in this chamber. He wanted her to come out as the She-Hulk. And she's sitting there like, well, I don't know what you're supposed to do. She has a little helmet on, and he's like testing her and everything. And he's like, you're thinking about being angry and fearful. And she talks about how that's a lot of women. And I found that to be funny because, people categorize us as being emotional and things like that. So she made a little joke about that, but then he's like, all right, well, if that's not going to work, this is what's going to work. So he turns on the machines. She's in this chamber. She doesn't know what to do. And all of a sudden, she like stops it because she's so fearful that she's going to get sliced up. And she gets so pissed at him that she literally breaks the glass door. She throws it. She's standing there looking at him like, "Urgh." And then she starts talking like herself, but she's still in She-Hulk mode. So that surprised him very much, because when you turn into Hulk, that's like an alter ego, like you're somebody else. But she kind of remained the same in the She-Hulk body. So that kind of threw him for a loop. So I gotta say that when she turned, the CGI in this, at first I was like, I'm not too crazy about it. But with her, she still looked like a woman. She still looked feminine. She wasn't, an ugly looking thing. She didn't beef up too much or anything like that. Like, they still kind of kept her curves and everything. So that didn't take me away. I was okay with that. Like, that was pretty cool. I was like, all right, you can kind of still see her womanly features and stuff like that. So that's cool. Like, I didn't want to see her all muscled up and stuff looking like him. You know what I mean? I don't know what the CGI was going to look like if that were the case, but I'm glad they kind of, did a good job with that. So moving along, he's like, all right, well, we don't need this first part of this whole big binder that he has about being the Hulk. So they're going through these drills and everything. And then finally, she's just fed up. She's like, I'm leaving. She's taking the Jeep. He's trying to stop her. So now they're fighting each other. In this place. And I mean, bad, like really bad. But then they reconcile. And he's like, all right, if you have to go back, I completely understand. But at one point, he was telling her, he was like, after all of that, the one plus thing that we can do is we have a high tolerance for drinking. And at one point you see them sitting at his bar drinking, and it's a pile of liquor bottles all over the place. And the next day, of course, she feels the effects of that, but that was pretty funny. So then anyway, she goes back to her life, and she's, in this courtroom, and the only people that know that she's a Hulk is her best friend and her family, of course, and Bruce. So she's in this courtroom, and she's getting ready to do her thing, and all of a sudden, this villain, I think she's a villain, busts through the wall. She kind of looks like a rock and roll star. I don't know who she is. And her girl, she's like, all right, do your thing, because she's like, no, like, nobody else knows that she's the Hulk, but now she's got no choice. So she's like, oh no, her girlfriend's like, take off your shoes. Like, you can't bust out of your shoes type of thing. So she turns into the Hulk, she fights her, she knocks her out. Now everybody sees that she's the Hulk, and then she proceeds to try to go on with the trial. There is an end credit scene. It was pretty funny. It wasn't too long. But overall, I really did enjoy this first episode. So we'll see how it goes. For those of you who have seen the first episode, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure that you go over and watch my reaction. This isn't watch with me. You will not see the content, but there is a timer so you can watch on your end at the same time as me. And you can see my reaction, and we can react to the same things, and we can kind of talk about it here on my review video. But in the meantime, definitely let me know what you guys think of the first episode. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel, hit like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified whenever I pop up on your feed. I'll see you guys later. Doodle!